A woman sits in the front row thinking she's safe. The comedian asks where she's from, guesses wrong again and again, until she drops the one detail that flips the whole bit and leaves the room gasping. That's the front row. Best view in the house. Most dangerous seat in comedy. Here are 10 times comedians roasted the front row into silence. Matt Rife, we're starting with the kind of crowd work that makes an entire theater suck in air at the same time. Picture the front row of a Matt Rife show. The lights are low, everyone's a couple drinks in, and the comedian is scanning the seats like a hawk over a field. Most comics, when they spot a guy in a wheelchair, will give a polite nod and keep walking. They'll find a safer target. A guy in a baseball cap, a couple holding hands. Anyone whose existence doesn't come preloaded with 100 ways to get the internet mad at you. Rife does the exact opposite. He sees the live wire and he grabs it with both hands.
My boy in a wheelchair over here? What's up, man? Who you here with? You here with your cousin? What up, cousin? What's your name? Jake. Good to meet you, dog. Jake and Logan. Sounded like it.
The guy's name is Logan, and here's the thing that the people clutching their pearls always miss. Within seconds, Logan is laughing harder than anybody else in the building. That's the secret nobody tells you about this style of comedy. It only works when the target is in on it, and Logan isn't just in on it, he's thrilled. He came to a comedy show. He sat in the front row. He knew the math. So when the crowd starts groaning, all nervous about where this is heading, Rife wheels around and turns on them instead. Read that again. He's not protecting Logan from the joke. He's protecting the joke from the crowd.
Shut up. Everybody shut up already. I can already tell how y'all gonna feel about this, and I'm not gonna stand for it. Neither will he.
And then comes the twist that nobody, including Rife, saw coming. He's mid-roast, riding the wave, and he scans a little further down the row. A few seats over, there's a second person in a wheelchair. 2 of them, same row, same night. The odds of that are absurd, and you can watch the realization land on his face like he just hit the lottery and isn't sure he's allowed to keep the money.
Are you in a wheelchair too? What the This never happened. What's your name, love? Bethany. Love to meet you, Bethany. And you have the, yeah, you just manual as well.
Her name's Bethany, and suddenly Rife has a brand new bit handed to him on a silver platter. He stops treating it like crowd work and starts treating it like a sporting event. 2 competitors, 1 front row, a head-to-head nobody asked for. He asks Bethany about her condition. She gives him an honest answer, and the instant she does, Rife picks a side. He aligns himself with Logan like a kid choosing teams at recess, and the comparison he draws between the 2 of them is genuinely savage. But the reason it works, the reason the whole room caves in, is Logan. Logan is loving it. He's being crowned the winner of a contest he didn't enter against an opponent he just met, and he's eating it up. By the end, Rife has dragged a third person into it, Bethany's boyfriend, the one able-bodied guy in the group, who suddenly becomes the only person in the entire conversation that it's socially safe to roast, and Rife absolutely buries him for it. The room is hovering somewhere between horrified and hysterical, that exact frequency where you're laughing with your hand half covering your mouth. And that's the tightrope Rife lives on. He didn't roast this front row into silence by being mean. He did it by being so completely committed that nobody in the building knew whether to gasp or cheer, so they did both at the same time.
That's your boyfriend? What's he gonna do, beat him up? Yeah, that's what I thought. Cash in, Logan. I got you, dog. Your boyfriend gonna fucking sit in the corner and watch Logan get an oil change right in front of him.
Cheeky way to open a video, and believe it or not, it gets weirder from here. Paul Smith. Every single comedian on this list does the roasting. This is the only time the front row roasts back and actually wins. Liverpool's Paul Smith is deep into his set when a phone starts ringing in the front row, not buzzing in a pocket. Ringing, full volume. Full ringtone, the single worst sound that can happen in a packed comedy room. And here's where most comics would crack one quick joke, let the guy fumble it back into his coat, and move on. Smith makes a different call entirely. He decides the phone is no longer an interruption. The phone is the show now.
Who's got a ice cream, pub? Is that you dead? Is that your phone, Pubs? It is, you f***ing rat. I can hear it in your pocket. Give me your phone. That's the rules. Give me your phone.
And he doesn't just mock the guy holding it, he takes the phone. physically leans over the front of the stage, hands out, lays down the law about it being the rules, and the audience member somehow actually hands the thing over. Think about how fast you have to lose a battle of wills to surrender your unlocked phone to a stranger with a microphone. Now Smith is standing there holding it in front of 1,000 people, and he can see exactly who's calling. There's a name glowing on the screen, and Smith, being Smith, does the thing you are absolutely not supposed to do with someone else's phone. He answers it.
Can I get a taxi? Stuart. What's the Stuart wants?
On the other end is a bloke named Stewie who has no idea that his mate's phone has just been hijacked by a professional comedian standing on a stage. Smith introduces himself, lets Stewie know he's just interrupted a live show in front of 1,000 strangers, and gets to work on him over the speakerphone. This is peak Paul Smith. Total command of the room, a stranger on the line, and an audience that can feel a viral moment forming in real time.
Hey, Stewie. Not being funny, mate. I'm in work here trying to do a show and that. You interrupted like 1,000 people. Taking the piss out of you a little bit, mate.
And then Stewie does the impossible. He lands one. A clean, calm, devastating shot back at Smith, broadcast over the microphone to the entire theater. No heckler is supposed to be able to do this, let alone a heckler who isn't even in the building, who's just some guy on the other end of a phone call he didn't sign up for. And for one rare, glorious second, the man who controls every room he walks into has absolutely nothing in the chamber. The crowd detonates. Here's the part that proves Smith is a pro though. He doesn't get defensive. He doesn't get angry. He takes the hit, clutches his chest like the line physically wounded him, and then fires one last filthy insult back down the line before hanging up the phone.
Why aren't you here, Stewie? There's 2 seats here. Oh, hurt me soul, that's Stewie. Well, you can't get a ticket for me anyway, you daft cunt.
Roasted into silence by a man who wasn't even there. In a whole video about comedians demolishing the front row, this is the rare moment of the front row demolishing the comedian. And the wild part is that Smith was good enough to know the funniest possible move was to just let it happen. He could have buried Stewie. Instead, he gave the win away because the win was the better joke. That's a first, probably a last. Jimmy Carr. If the front row is dangerous everywhere else on this list, in Jimmy Carr's room, it's a full minefield. And the man hands you the map only after you've already stepped on one. Here's how a car show actually works. His whole act is built on crowd work, but it's not random fishing. It's a process, almost a science. He finds someone in the front, learns 2 things about them, their name and their job, and then he takes those 2 completely harmless little facts and turns them into a weapon he'll keep firing for the next 20 minutes. No personal detail is too small, no answer is safe. Tonight, the unlucky volunteer is a woman named Jackie, sitting front and center, who makes the most classic mistake in the entire genre. She answers his very first question honestly.
Hi Jackie, what do you do, Jackie? You teach. Is that a good idea? When you say you teach, Jackie, do you mean you serve as an example to others?
She's a teacher. That one word alone gives him enough material to run for 10 minutes. But Jackie doesn't stop there. She keeps talking, keeps trying to volley back, keeps feeding the shark, and somewhere in the middle of it, she gives an answer so tangled and confusing that Carr just stops dead. He stares at her, and then he drops the kind of line that resets the entire room's energy in a single breath. It is harsh. It is surgical, and the audience absolutely loses it, precisely because he said the brutal thing that every other person in that theater was thinking and would never, ever say out.
I've got to ask, Jackie, are you You think I might be Sir, when plying a woman with booze.
Now this next part is where Carr separates himself from every other crowd work comedian alive. A few minutes into all of this, Jackie reveals something heavy, a real, serious, deeply personal piece of her life. The kind of detail that stops most comedy shows cold and refuses to let them start again. You can feel the room change, the laughter dies, the energy curdles into that thick, awkward silence where everybody suddenly remembers these are real people with real lives. This is the exact moment that ends careers if you mishandle it. One wrong word here and you're the villain. Carr doesn't even blink.
You're right, I had cancer. All right, Jackie, keep it light. Security is standing by to escort you from the building.
He pivots so fast and so cleanly that the most dangerous moment of the entire night becomes the single biggest laugh of it. That's the skill people miss. It was never about the cruelty. It's about the recovery. It's about being calm enough to walk through a landmine field and turn each explosion into applause. And he just keeps moving through that front row like a shark that smells blood in every seat. A few rows of carnage later, he finds a couple who've been married 54 years. A genuinely sweet milestone. A warm, human, awe-worthy moment.
How long have you guys been together? 54 years. Madam. I don't know why you're clapping.
Carr looks at 5 decades of devotion and instantly locates the darkest possible angle on it.
If you'd killed him when you first thought about it, you'd be out by now. Do it now, serve your time, come on. Very well dressed, you two. Probably glamorous.
20 straight minutes of front row demolition, and the genuinely unnerving part is how calm he stays through all of it. Every other comedian on this list raises the temperature to win a room. Jimmy Carr lowers it. He doesn't shout you into silence, he whispers, and somehow that's so much worse. Aries Spears. Almost everybody on this list got picked out of the crowd. This guy volunteered, and he regretted it about 4 seconds later. Aries Spears is working a room when a man in the front row decides, for reasons that will haunt him forever, to challenge him. Not a heckle exactly, more of a power move. He throws out a line meant to put Spears in his place, something territorial about Spears not really knowing where he is or who he's dealing with. He thinks he's drawing a line in the sand. What he's actually doing is loading the gun and handing it to a man who's been doing this for 30 years. Spears doesn't even pause. He takes that little jab and turns it into the heaviest, most loaded comeback of the entire night.
You the one that don't realize where you at.
My people didn't realize where we were at when we won that boat. So give us that back too, motherfucker. He really thought he said some just now.
I did.
No, you didn't, motherfucker.
The room erupts, and you can physically watch the heckler realize he brought a butter knife to a gunfight. But Spears isn't satisfied with one shot. Here's the thing the pros understand that amateurs don't. The single most effective weapon against a heckler isn't a better insult. It's the silence around them. So Spears turns away from the guy and toward the rest of the audience, and he simply points out that when this man spoke, nobody laughed. Nobody. He takes the quiet that followed the heckle and holds it up like evidence. He makes the man sit there and listen to his own failure echo around the room.
Did you hear the audience laugh when you said what you said? It does matter. And you
Know where you at?
You screaming don't make you right, sucker.
And then Spears goes for the kill. He starts building an entire character out of the guy, mimicking his posture, his tone, his whole energy, performing an exaggerated version of him until the heckler is just sitting there with a defeated little smile and absolutely no road back into the fight. He's been turned into a bit. He is now part of the act, cast as the loser, and there's nothing he can do about it. By the time a supportive fan shouts something from the crowd, Spears has flipped the entire room so hard that he gets to play the gracious peacemaker, joking about how worked up his own audience just got on his behalf.
Hey. Let's smoke a peace pipe. Let's make some peace. I got it, baby.
One heckle, maybe 4 seconds of misplaced courage, and Aries Spears stretched it into a full 3-act performance with the heckler cast as the villain who loses in the end. Think about the position that guy is in now. He can't double down because Spears already proved nobody's on his side. He can't leave because that's admitting defeat in front of a few hundred people. He can't even sit there stone-faced because Spears turned his silence into part of the bit too. There is no winning move left on the board. That's the real risk of the front row that nobody warns you about. You think you're starting a fight on equal footing. You're actually auditioning, live, for the role of tonight's punchline. And the casting is final. Andrew Schultz. This is the one we opened the whole video with. Time to see exactly how it plays out. Andrew Schultz, perched on a stool at the New York Comedy Club, brick wall behind him, locks onto a woman in the front row and announces his plan to the entire building. He's going to guess her background, out loud, in detail, in front of everyone. And before a single person in the room can decide to be offended on her behalf, he does something clever. He frames the whole risky enterprise as a public service, openly asking the audience for permission to deploy his worst instincts toward a good cause.
Bro, you gotta give TSA trouble, dog. Right? This is TSA's worst nightmare, you know what I mean? Like, are you trying to blow up the country or sneak into it? What the oh.
That right there is the genius of the setup, and it's worth slowing down on. He gets the audience to sign the waiver before he reveals the ride. He makes them agree to the bit before he tells the bit, so that by the time he actually starts firing, every person laughing is a co-conspirator. Nobody can get mad now. They voted yes. He turns to the woman, gets a vague Middle Eastern out of her, and that's all the runway he needs to take off into a full comedic investigation of her identity.
What is your background, can I guess? Can I use my racism for good? You're allowed to use your racism for good.
What follows is basically a guided tour of an entire region of the planet, narrated by a man who is wrong over and over again and somehow getting funnier with every miss. He runs through the geopolitics, the stereotypes, the ancient rivalries, one country at a time, like a detective working a board of suspects with red string. Every wrong guess only commits him harder, because now he has to be right. The whole room is waiting on it. At one point, he lands on Israel and spins out a bit about money and oil so absurdly specific that the room genuinely cannot decide whether to laugh out loud or quietly slide under their seats.
Israeli? No, they don't have any oil. Dude, you know how pissed off they gotta be about that? That's the one bad investment Jews have made.
He keeps narrowing it down. Eventually, he guesses Iran, and instead of moving on, he doubles down, quizzing her on the language, the customs, the holidays, the whole cultural checklist, closing in on his suspect like the walls are tightening.
Do you speak Farsi? You speak that? Do you worship a goldfish? That's part of it. Just don't lie, there's a holiday, probably like your Christmas. Oh, you're Jewish and Iranian.
And then she drops the one detail that cracks the entire case wide open. She's Jewish. Iranian and Jewish together, a combination so impossibly specific that Schultz physically recoils like the information knocked him backward. And within half a second before the laugh from the reveal even finishes, he's already located the single place on planet Earth where that exact person belongs. It isn't a country, it isn't a region, it's one zip code in California, and the second he says it, the whole room collapses.
First of all, that's a tough one, guys. Oh, that's a rough one, dude. Because you got no place that's like home outside of Beverly Hills.
7 full minutes of wrong guesses, all of it quietly building toward one perfect landing. That's not a heckler getting shut down. That's an entire human identity, reverse engineered, live, on a stage for the entertainment of a paying crowd. And the woman who set the whole thing in motion did it just by sitting in the front row and answering a question. She never said more than a handful of words the whole time. She didn't have to. In that seat, you're not a participant. You're the puzzle. Quick question before we keep going. Would you ever volunteer your seat in the front row knowing all of this? Be honest in the comments. And if you're enjoying these, drop a like so the algorithm sends this to somebody who's about to make that exact mistake this weekend. Akash Singh. Every other comedian on this list found a crack, a weakness, a way in. This is the one time the front row turned out to be genuinely bulletproof, and the comedian was honest enough to admit it on stage. Akash Singh strikes up a conversation with 2 friends sitting in the front row. The first guy is an easy mark, the kind crowd work comedians dream about. He's a chef, he's got a cultural background Singh can riff on instantly, and Singh is so comfortable he even tosses in a self-deprecating shot at his own career to keep the vibe friendly. Everything's rolling, the machine is humming. This is exactly how the bit is supposed to go.
You still in school?
No, I went to culinary school.
What's your ethnicity? I just need to... Oh, that makes sense. Okay, there you go. Goddamn, West Indian. That's normal. East Indian, I was like, what are we doing? That's almost as embarrassing as comedian for a South Asian.
Then he turns to the second guy and asks the standard question, "What do you do for a living?" And the answer stops the entire act dead in its tracks, because this man has, no exaggeration, the single most unroastable job in the building. The kind of profession that makes a comedian's whole arsenal completely useless, because the second you mock it, you don't lose the target, you lose the room. There are some jobs you simply cannot make fun of without becoming the villain of your own show, and this guy has one of them. The crowd would turn on the comic instantly and never come back. Singh's face does the math in real time, live, in front of everyone. You can watch him run the numbers and arrive at the same conclusion the audience already reached 2 seconds earlier. He is completely, hopelessly stuck.
I hate when y'all put these in front row. What the fuck I'm gonna do with that? Hey, we gotta start asking people. If you work for sit in the back, I can't have no fun with this.
So Singh does the only thing a smart comedian can do when he hits a brick wall. He makes the wall itself the joke. He turns to the crowd and explains, in mock agony, that certain professions are basically poison for a comedian, the kind of job so noble it disarms every weapon he owns, and that this guy needs to get up and sit in the back where his good character can't keep ruining the show for everybody. It's a brilliant little escape hatch. The bit stops being a roast of the man and becomes a roast of Singh's own impossible situation. The comedy isn't the insult anymore. The comedy is that there is no insult, that this one decent human being has accidentally built himself an immunity that no punchline on earth can crack. And the beautiful part, the part that ties the whole thing together with a bow, is that the man Singh couldn't touch ends up laughing harder than anyone else in the building. He won the exchange without throwing a single word. Turns out, every once in a while, the front row comes out on top, not by firing back, not by being quick, just by being a genuinely good person who showed up to laugh. Nate Jackson. Here's a free survival tip. If a comedian is standing on a stage doing his job, do not, under any circumstances, start doing your makeup. They will notice. And Nate Jackson noticed immediately. A woman in his front row decides that the middle of his set is the perfect time to pull out her compact and touch up her face. Bold strategy. Jackson clocks it in about a second and calls her out on the spot, and here's the tell that gives her away completely. The instant he speaks to her, her whole face lights up. She's delighted, which, as Jackson points out, kind of proves the entire case against her. She didn't want to be ignored. She wanted exactly this. Well, congratulations, now she has every eyeball in the building.
Why are you doing your makeup right now? You did that so I would talk to you? Your whole face lit up. Let's talk about it. You thought something was on your face? What's your name? Really?
Her name's Kiana, and Jackson immediately goes to work on the combination of that name and her background, which turns out to be a mix so unexpected that he treats it like she ran her entire ancestry test live on stage for his benefit. From there, he pivots to her size, leaning into the gap between the person her heritage led him to expect and the person actually sitting in front of him. He's stacking it, name, then background, then build, each layer setting up the next.
Are you black? Just say no. The whole 23andMe.
But Jackson's real gift is that he never stops at one target. He expands. He brings in Kiana's best friend sitting right next to her, asks how long the two of them have been close, and the moment he gets a number, he's off and running on a whole theory about the supposed shelf life of female friendships. It's the kind of bit that only works because it feels improvised and a little dangerous, like he's narrating a relationship he just met 30 seconds ago. Now it's two women under the spotlight instead of one, and the energy in the room keeps climbing with every exchange.
Are you guys friends? Okay. Best friends or like, what's up? How long you been best friends? 40. Hey, congratulations. Girls don't make it that long. They got like a 2-year shelf life, and they're like, that.
And then he goes too far in the best possible way. He floats a theory about the two friends, a cheeky suggestion about their history together, and he commits to it fully with the physical comedy to match. That's the moment that does it. Both women fold completely, faces buried in their hands, shoulders shaking, laughing far too hard to even attempt a comeback. And that, right there, is the silence the title's promising you. Not awkward, uncomfortable quiet. The good kind. The kind where the targets have fully surrendered, waved the white flag, and the only sound left in the building is the rest of the crowd roaring at them.
You guys got energy. You know? Like, you've kissed. You got drunk and kissed. You said no. She was like, real shit. Your girl was like, oh, one night. It was crazy. I did that. Rock, paper, scissors, scissors, scissors.
She bought a one-way ticket to that exact reaction the second she popped open that compact mirror. Lesson learned, the hard way, in front of everybody. Gary Owen. Here's a lesson nobody warns you about. The front row isn't only dangerous if you heckle, it's dangerous if you simply show up looking too good. Gary Owen spots a couple in his front row absolutely dripping in money, designer everything, diamonds catching the stage lights with every move, the full, unapologetic display of wealth, the kind of look that says we did not come here to blend in. And in a comedy club, that is the equivalent of painting a target on your own chest and handing the comedian a dart. Owen does exactly what Owen does best. He opens an investigation. Because in his mind, the math on this couple is not adding up, and he is going to figure out where every last karat came from, live with the whole room sworn in as his jury.
You guys are the most stylish couple, though. You guys ain't f***ing around. Got the Givenchy jacket, the diamond chain, Gucci. You're killing it. What do? Are you allowed to say?
Then he asks the woman what she does, and her answer becomes the engine for everything that follows. She was in the army. Now Owen has his thread to pull. A military salary on one hand and a mountain of diamonds on the other, in his telling can only mean one thing, and he spins up an entire theory about looting and stolen mansions overseas. Acting the whole heist out on stage like he personally helped carry the bags.
You in the army? Who the you robbing Iraq? This motherfucker found Saddam Hussein's mansion. I didn't find nothing.
But he's not finished with her Ursum yet. He presses for the specific role, the actual job title, and when she finally names it, it's almost too perfect to be real. Her job in the army was finance. Of all the possible answers, Owen practically can't believe his good fortune, and he immediately mimes out the obvious scheme, a little for the official books, a little extra for the diamonds. The setup wrote itself, and she handed it to him gift wrapped.
What did you do in the army legally? Finance? Oh. 200 for you, 200 for me.
And then Owen pulls the move that quietly turns a roast into a friendship. He reveals his own background, military, and then law enforcement, and he uses it not to lecture the couple, but to join their imaginary crime ring. He starts voicing a little spat between the husband and wife about keeping their secret hustle under wraps, performing both sides of the argument, the nervous one and the proud one, and by the end, he's offering to look the other way for a small cut of the action. The roast has fully morphed into a heist comedy with the front row couple cast as his unwitting co-stars in a crime that never happened. And that's the trick that separates Owen from the meaner comics on this list. Nobody got humiliated. Everybody got robbed. And they loved every second of it because he made them the heroes of the story instead of the punchline. Turns out the safest possible outfit for a comedy show is something profoundly, gloriously boring. Leave the diamonds at home.
You see, why you telling me? I told you. Say we own some Royal Farms gas station or something. Can't tell but don't f*** hustle or bet.
Ori Styla. Almost everyone on this list earned their roast by saying something. This first target earned hers by saying absolutely nothing at all. Ori Styla opens his show by giving the front row fair warning about how he operates. He's conversational. He talks to people. He's going to come down there and engage. And in a little group of friends who are all giggling and playing along, one woman, Jessica, gives him precisely nothing back. Arms folded, stone face, a complete refusal to react. Most comedians would read that wall and move along to easier prey. Styla reads it as a challenge and zeroes all the way in.
Did you not choose these seats? Right, okay. Have you not seen my comedy online before? Like, I'm very conversational, bruv. And this brother saw me outside. When I see you, bruv, I'm sitting in the front row. Come and get me, you know, blood.
Her silence becomes the entire engine of the bit. He plays it like she's personally offended by his very existence, acting wounded and baffled, and he squeezes every ounce of comedy out of her refusal to engage. And here's the genius of it. The less she gives him, the funnier the whole thing gets, because now the entire room is leaning in to watch one stubborn woman try to outweight a working professional whose actual job is breaking people exactly like her.
This friend don't want me to say nothing to her. No, I'm watching her face right now. Joel, I don't know her from Adam. This one, all three of you like, this one.
When she finally cracks just enough to reveal where she's from, Styla pounces like he's been waiting for it the whole time, because he has.
South London. I knew it, yeah. I knew it. South London energy in the house. Notice I don't know her name, her age, what she does for a living. You know what? As soon as I saw, I said South.
He's been quietly constructing a theory about her energy this entire stretch, and her answer slots right into it. He launches into a riff about the beautiful contradiction of a human being who deliberately buys a front row seat, dead center, the most visible chair in the building. Then he sits there, beaming out a silent "do not perceive me" force field at the comedian standing 3 feet away.
I love London in general. I'm a Londoner myself, but only South London are the people that sit in the front row, right in the middle, and say, I don't want to be seen. So don't talk to me. I'm sitting here, but just bypass me, rude boy.
Then, a late arriving couple becomes his next project. One of them, a guy named Rich, answers a totally innocent question in a way that Styla instantly reframes as something far more loaded than the poor man ever intended. Rich meant one harmless thing. Styla chose to hear another, and he is absolutely not going to let it slide by quietly. The whole room feels the trap snap shut a half second before Rich does.
How come you not come so late? What happened?
Obviously not me.
That felt a bit racial, I'm not gonna lie.
What makes Styla genuinely special, though, is that he never leaves a single person actually bruised. He pushes right up to the very edge, harvests the gasp, and then gently pulls the whole room back into the joke together, Target included. Jessica barely said a word all night. Rich said one accidental wrong one. And both of them ended up as the centerpiece of the funniest stretch of the entire show, without ever feeling like the bad guy. That's a rare kind of control. Renee Vaca. After everything we've just watched, the 20-minute car massacres and the 7-minute Schultz investigations, the single hardest knockout on this entire list takes just few seconds, start to finish. No wind-up, no warning. Just a clean surgical strike that's over before the target even realizes a joke was being built. Renee Vaca is doing crowd work with a couple in the front row. Nothing fancy. Warm-up questions. Do you have kids? How long have you two been together? The standard opening moves every comedian uses to find a thread. It's the kind of small talk that feels completely harmless, which is exactly what makes it so dangerous. Because Vaca isn't making conversation, he's mining. Every answer is a shovel in the dirt, and he's just waiting for one of them to hit something he can use. Then he turns to the woman, and she makes the one mistake you cannot make in that chair. She tries to get ahead of the joke. She frames her own age in the most flattering possible light, proud of it, fishing for a compliment, practically daring the room to be impressed with her. She walked directly, confidently, smiling, into it.
You guys have kids? That's still beautiful, man. You accept her kids? Yeah, she accepts yours? You don't have any? You want one? Are you gonna give him one? How old are you? 39? You got 2 hours left.
And that's the whole thing. One number out of her mouth, one glance down at his watch, one line, and the entire room is gone. Watch the mechanics of it, because they're flawless. She hands him the number, fully expecting him to play along. Instead, he checks his wrist, the way you check the time on a parking meter that's about to run out. That single physical move is the whole punchline before he even speaks. He's turned her age into a countdown clock, live, in real time, and the second the crowd connects the dots, it's over. No 7-minute slow burn. Just a comedian who heard exactly the right setup and already had the perfect bullet loaded in the chamber, waiting for her to hand him the trigger. And she did. Smiling, the couple cracks up. The boyfriend next to her loses it. The crowd detonates. and the front row gets taught the oldest lesson in all of stand-up. One final time, faster than anyone in the building could see it coming. There's no comeback to a line like that. You can't argue with a clock. All she can do is laugh and take it, which to her credit she does. Just a watch, a punchline, and a room on the floor. Every other comedian on this list needed runway. Carr needed 20 minutes and a name and a job. Schultz needed a whole geography lesson. Smith needed a phone call to a stranger. Vaca needed a number and a wristwatch. That's the purest form of this entire art. The shorter the distance between the setup and the kill, the more impossible it is to defend against. The few seconds is about as short as it gets. The best seats in the house come with the highest risk in the room. Down there, you're not the audience. You never were. You're the material, the prop, the volunteer who didn't know they volunteered. So next time you walk into a comedy club and the usher points you toward that empty chair in the front, dead center, just remember every single name on this list. The phone call. The wheelchairs. The watch. Then maybe, very quietly, ask if there's anything available in the back.